Hello and welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. We are doing wheel cleaning testing today. So we're putting 4 products head to head with our test subject, my friend Kyle's Tesla Model S Plaid. Very curious to see how these are all going to perform because they're at very different price points. And if you guys have recommendations for maybe a part 2 of wheel cleaners you want to see compared to maybe the top 2 or just the winner in the next video, we can definitely do that. But let's start off talking testing procedure. So what we're going to do, I want to give everything a fair fight here. So we're going to start off with a dry, dirty wheel. We're going to spray 1 cleaner per corner of the car and let it dwell. All of these instructions say around 3 to 5 minutes. Do not let it dry. Do not use it out in bright sunlight. So we're in a perfect environment here. The phase 1 of this is I do not want to touch the wheel at all. I want to see just the cleaning power of the wheel cleaner itself instead of actually getting in there with brushes. We're going to do that in part 2. So we're going to dry off the wheel, compare all these. Then in part 2, reapply, same wheel cleaner, same wheel, go on there, agitate. Curious to see if we can get all of these to get to the same end result, a nice clean wheel free of brake dust and grime. But let's jump into talking price because like I said before, very different price points and also very different chemical makeups. So these 3, Sonax, Geon, Koch Chemie, these are all, from what I understand, wheel cleaners that go in and attack iron particulates. If you've ever watched these videos before, they turn bright red on the wheel and they're activating that iron particles, pulling them off the wheel, and it really gets in there and gets a lot of grime off. Now what's interesting with Brake Buster is I found this product looking for something to use with carbon ceramic brakes. Typically these 3 you're not using on carbon ceramics because they're not going to react with the brake dust. And they are normally not super safe to use on carbon ceramic brakes. So I found Brake Buster and I've really come to love it. The interesting thing about this, very economical. You can dilute this. I typically was doing around 1 to 5, and this goes for $10.99 a bottle. So out of a single bottle, you can imagine how much you can get out of that. Today in this test, we're going to be using everything at full strength to give them a fair fight. Now Sonax, this is one of those wheel cleaners that goes on bright green, turns purple when it's activating. This is kind of the OG wheel cleaner. I remember when I started my business, this was the stuff back in the day. And this retails for $16.99 a bottle. So nearly $6 more than Brake Buster. Is it worth it? We're gonna find out. Now Geon wheel cleaner with iron remover in it. I've actually never used this product. Huge fan of Geon products. Haven't tried their wheel cleaner. Same kind of chemical activation with the iron brake dust particulates. And this retails for $17.99 a bottle. Quite pricey. When you start getting up in that $15, $16, $17 price range per wheel cleaner, that can get very expensive. Assuming that you're going to go through a bottle of this, maybe for 6, 7, 8 wheels of cleaning, that can get really pricey. Last here we have in the test is Koch Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner. What really sparked this test was reading the back of this stuff. It never, like the other 3, says that you need to go in and agitate. So I was like, wow, I really wonder if this stuff is magic enough to be able to spray on there, not touch it, let all the brake dust fall off, pressure wash it, and it's perfect. My impression from a detailer, I highly doubt that, but I think it's going to be a very good cleaner. Now the big caveat with this stuff, expensive. $20.99 retail for this stuff. So nearly double what Brake Buster is. Does it give you double the performance? I don't know, but let's find out. So let's jump in here. We're gonna put all 4 wheels up on the screen here, spray them down, put a timer on, and see how they clean up. Before we jump into actually spraying these wheels off, let's take a look at the current state of these. So covered in brake dust, dirt, grime, road salt, everything. Absolutely filthy on here. So this will be a great test for the wheels. One thing I'm going to do is spray down the tires with some tire cleaner because typically what I see a lot with wheel cleaners is if you spray them on a dry wheel and tire, they can actually spot the tires, so I want to avoid that in this situation. So interesting thing to note about the Plaid here, we do have upgraded brakes on here. Just wanted to make a note of that. These are Mountain Pass Performance components. So we have a different pad and a upsized rotor on these. And yeah, they definitely get quite filthy. But let's jump into this test and get her going. Wow. Okay, massive results. Let's talk through this because this is fascinating to me. So first off, carnage everywhere. These three, so the Geon Iron, Magic Wheel Cleaner, Sonax Full Effect, getting in there, getting that brake dust off, really nice. What's important to note though, and what I'm going to show you, huge differences between grime. So we are obviously seeing that it's reacted with the brake dust. Really, really fascinating. Let's start here at the most expensive at $20.99 a bottle. And I gotta say, I am blown away with this stuff. Look at how clean this wheel is. Now, if I start getting nitpicky and here's still some grime left over, definitely the barrels could use a little bit more work, but I gotta say, wow. Absolutely thrilled with this. This is actually my first time using the Koch Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner. Blown away, cleaning power, 8 out of 10, really, really nice. Let's go to the second most expensive back here, Geon Iron Wheel Cleaner. Now, this is quite interesting how this stuff reacted. If you remember when this went on, bright purple immediately all over the actual rotor. Pulled off tons and tons of stuff here. Really quite impressed. But what I think this stuff does quite a bit better is go in there and get the dirt and grime. And as I come in here, you're gonna notice quite a bit more haze to this, just a little bit more dirty in general. Cleaning, I would say if I had to give it a review, 6 out of 10 on its own. Not great, but not horrible. Still pulled a lot off. But when you compare it to something like this, really, really good. Gotta say, huge negative to Geon Iron Wheel Cleaner. The worst by a long shot smelling wheel cleaner in this test. Absolutely horrid. I would say this Magic Wheel Cleaner comes in a close second as best smelling. Does that really matter? I don't know, because Geon, that stuff stinks. It's horrible. The whole shop smells like it. My shirt smells like it. My hands smell like it. Yeah, not a huge fan. Now the third most smelly, but I find it quite a pleasant smell, is the Sonax Full Effect Wheel Cleaner. So I think these with the Geon really compare to each other quite a bit more, especially at $1 more for the Geon. I would say the Geon cleaned a little bit better. There's just some big globs of dirt in here. Yeah, and I also noticed what was really fascinating with this stuff is the rotor turned bright purple, but the actual wheel didn't. So I found that really interesting. 5 out of 10 on the spray, no agitation. Cleaned it up good, but nowhere near what the Magic Wheel Cleaner did on the passenger side. Now the worst of them all, few things to talk about on here. So this stuff actually cleans the tires, but what's interesting is the tires almost look more brown than anything on here. But as you could see during that kind of time lapse, it was really pulling out a lot of dirt and grime. Now this stuff, it does not have the iron removing power that the other stuff does, and that's where it falls short. So this was, again, used at full strength, just like all the other ones, and definitely looks the worst. It really didn't clean a whole heck of a lot. Really grungy, really filthy. So that's why I wanted to do part 2 of this test, is because I want to see, can we make this look as good as the Koch Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner by just some simple agitation. I gotta say, guys, I don't know. I would almost say this is double the amount of clean, which would kind of make sense because it's double the price. Now, again, close second Geon. The Sonax Full Effect Wheel Cleaner, I would give 3rd position and 4th position to Brake Buster. But Brake Buster does smell quite good, so if you're quite sensitive to that, that's something to consider. So we're gonna see, going in there, putting in a little elbow grease, what are these gonna look for? Let's start on the rear, starting with the worst and working our way back to the best. Make a few quick notes here after getting all these cleaned up. I tried to be as thorough as I could with the same process. This wheel I screwed up on and did the barrels before actually using the towel around there. Nonetheless, we've got some pretty clean wheels. I want to get these dried off, but before I do, let's talk a little bit about the water behavior. So these wheels are all ceramic coated and looking pretty good after a thorough cleaning. Notice the rust spot there on the actual rotor disc. That's kind of interesting, and yeah. So that's Magic Wheel Cleaner there. Here's the Geon one, looking about actually the same. I would say looking really, really nice there. Really impressed with that cleaner. Plenty of cleaning power. The worst smelling stuff though on the planet. Now, why I wanted to make this clip is this back here. And this is something that I've heard a lot of detailers complain about, including myself. P&S Brake Buster does something to ceramic coated wheels. And my fear is that it's starting to degrade it or strip it off or something, because you notice this wheel is not beating up quite the same. It's got quite a bit of more stagnant water on there and really doesn't show the same water behavior, you know, even like the Sonax Full Effect up here does, or the other two on the other side. So really fascinating stuff, and that does quite concern me about this, and I've seen that in the past, which is kind of why I'm doing this video. Want to find something a little bit better, but I'm going to dry these off, show you all the results of them after cleaning them thoroughly from a detailer, and we'll get our final results. We've got the wheels dried off, and before I give you my final thoughts, let's walk around, look at the wheels, see how they actually cleaned up after some good agitation. Now, starting from cheapest to most expensive here, P&S Brake Buster. The face of the wheel looks decent, but as I climb back here into the barrels, still a little bit of dirt and grime remaining there. They almost look a little dull compared to the other ones. I don't really think that's, to me, not cleaning them all the same. I think this one is just not getting in there, getting the iron particles. It is cleaning, but I don't know. Not as good as the other ones in my impression. So let's go over here to Sonax Full Effect Wheel Cleaner. Absolutely blown away. That looks like a perfectly clean wheel. Still a little water dripping here and there. Make a note of that brake rotor, because I'm going to compare that to the other one over here. Really, really impressed with Sonax though. Now, direct competitor to that here is Geon Wheel Cleaner. Really, really impressed with this stuff. Amazing cleaning power. Exactly what I'm looking for as a pro detailer. Looks really, really nice. And finally, our most expensive over here, Koch Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner. Honestly, guys, looks about the same as the Geon and Sonax. Really clean, but one note here, look at the rotor, how orange that is, especially down there below. That is a little concerning, but I don't know. I think now it's time to give my final thoughts and feelings, because boy, do I have a lot of them, and we're gonna declare a winner. Man, oh man, do I have some thoughts and feelings on this. What a interesting test. Honestly, the results kind of shocked me. I thought this was really interesting. I've never really done this to where you take 4 different cleaners, try it on something. I've kind of used one here or there and then compared it, a couple weeks later. But I thought this was really fascinating to do, and hoping to do this a lot more on this channel. So let's talk about what happened. Test number 1. Huge variances in cleaning ability, and to be honest, not what I expected at all. I really expected them to fall in this, 5 to 6 out of 10 cleaning power, where they're getting in there, they're removing a little bit of grime, definitely getting in there, removing brake dust, leaving the wheel clean-ish, but really needed agitation to go in there. And on the low spectrum, P&S Brake Buster really fell short between the rest of these. Really not impressed with the cleaning power whatsoever. Yeah, it really didn't do a ton. Maybe a 3 out of 10 I would give that. Just really not impressed. Now these two, Sonax and Geon, really where I expected it to be. Right in the middle, cleaned it up a little bit. Really effective cleaning power, but still needs brushing. This stuff, I don't know what they have done to it. I absolutely love this stuff. And Koch Chemie, test 1, beyond blew everything out of the water. And really not what I expected. This is my first time ever using a Koch Chemie product, and really impressed. Now, test number 2. This is kind of what I was expecting, is that we could get the lower end cleaners to the top end one, just having a little bit of time with some elbow grease, some brushes. That's really kind of what I've seen in the past between all wheel cleaners is, they really need that agitation in there, and you can get a pretty good result. Now, on the low end, again, P&S Brake Buster fell short of all 3 of these. Really not impressed with this stuff. And what it's doing to coatings, like I talked about, I really don't love. It seems like it's degrading them or clogging the coatings. I don't know if it's too strong of a cleaner, but it's not one of those that I can recommend. So without a doubt, P&S Brake Buster, 4 out of 4 in this competition, not impressed whatsoever. Now, I'm gonna make 2 different recommendations. I'm gonna make a pro one and my personal winner, absolutely Magic Wheel Cleaner. That being said, for you DIY guys, or someone who's really concerned about price point, definitely Sonax, and let's talk about it. Now, these are all different viscosities. I love how Magic Wheel Cleaner gets on the wheel, clings to it, and also talking about nozzles, it really kind of foams it up nice, really makes it stick on there. My least favorite out of these 3 is definitely Geon. It went on a little bit thin. It didn't, I didn't feel like it stuck on the wheel quite as well. I don't love the trigger on this compared to the other 2, but I gotta say the smell on this, I cannot recommend this product, because you're gonna get it and just go, what the heck? Just horrible. So for $1 less, I would pick yourself up some Sonax Full Effect Wheel Cleaner. A really nice sprayer on this, really consistent spray, gets on there, clings to it, and you get a nice amount of cleaning power. Pretty much the same as Geon. I would maybe edge out Geon just a little bit more, but I hate the smell of this stuff. So Sonax for you DIY guys, this is great. Pro detailers, you can absolutely use this, but this stuff, my absolute favorite. So what I'm planning on doing is a part 2 of this at some point, and I want that to come from the viewers. So I want you to tell me what wheel cleaners, what products you want me to test and compare against each other. I think it'd be cool to have this rolling series when new products come out, or if they didn't make this current video, to do another one. So these 2 are going to be omitted. I would like to test Sonac's Full Effect Wheel Cleaner and Koch Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner against 2 others that you guys come up with. So very curious to see what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We're going to be doing a lot more of these comparison videos on out of spec detailing. Tons of ideas. Let me know what you want to see, but we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for joining, and bye-bye.